7-Day Sports TV here. Salute to the mighty LDBC. Lions Den basketball community in this case. Smash the like button. Hit the subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I drop a new video. If you're digging the video, go ahead and share the video. Alright, this won't take too long. Stephen A. Smith of ESPN First Take and No Mercy Podcast took to his No Mercy Podcast to take some jabs at YouTubers. Alright? Now, Stephen A. Smith was on Dan Le Batard's show a few days ago. And Dan Le Batard told Stephen A., I hate what you and Skip did to sports media. And Stephen A. Smith took offense to that. He responded immediately. It was basically Dan Le Batard telling him, like, look, the made-for-TV debates are causing a problem with sports media. He believes that the made-for-TV debates, constantly debating and arguing about nothing, has ruined sports media. Stephen A. Smith takes it to his No Mercy podcast and decides he's going to, roast. He's going to roast YouTubers. Stephen A. says he went to journalists. He put in all this work. He went to school for journalism, and he's got degrees, and he's well accomplished, and he got all these achievements. He put all this work in, but you got guys on YouTube who just saying anything and don't have the journalistic integrity, right? So let's talk about that. First and foremost, this is nothing new at all. The mainstream media has always been jealous of YouTubers, always. I was here from the beginning, so I remember what happened. I had different channels, but I can recall when I first came on here doing, when I first came to the sports world, and I started doing over-the-phone interviews with boxers. I remember a specific interview with James Kirkland I was doing, and I put the interview up on social media, on YouTube, and I remember all these writers, all the boxing writers, the boxing media, had a big problem with me posting an interview on the internet, like, oh, well, that's not how you do it. Because, see, what they would do is they would record the athlete on the phone, and then they would just use that as an area of reference so they can write their articles. But I was actually posting the unfiltered, raw articles. Audio. So they thought it was ghetto. I was called ghetto. I was called amateur hour. All kind of stuff I was called by these boxing writers, okay? People who went to school for journalism and all this stuff made fun of me and all of that, okay? I remember when YouTubers like myself and others would break stories through our connections with fighters and different athletes. When we would break stories and give first-hand information, it was a time where the boxing websites would say, oh, some YouTube channel is claiming blah, blah, blah. Some YouTuber is saying this and that. And they never give you credit when you're right. You see what I'm saying? So it's funny how tables turn. Because all these people walked around with their head held high, their nose in the air, and looked down upon YouTubers. But every last one of those boxing websites now has a YouTube channel. Huh? Because this is the heartbeat of the boxing world, right? Every one of those big wig, ESPN, FS1, these huge powerhouses now have YouTube channels, right? So YouTube must be doing something right. The people on YouTube must be doing something right. You understand me? So that jealousy has always been there. First and foremost, YouTube, the independent media is very necessary to counter the agendas that are constantly being put out by mainstream media. You see, when Skip Bayless comes out every day on his show on Undisputed and blatantly makes up lies about Russell Westbrook, blatantly, okay? Blatantly lies. It says that, well, Westbrook, He's getting into it with Tyronn Lue. Westbrook is not happy with being on the bench in the fourth quarter. Westbrook is not cheering on his teammates. When anyone who watched the game knows that that's not true. But he is allowed to blatantly lie. Blatantly lie. Just say whatever he wants to say. And then people like myself will come on here and say that's a lie. Skip Bayless is fabricating. He's flat out lying. Okay? Others will speak on it. And we have a right to do so. The days of you guys just coming on TV and telling us what you want us to hear and spinning narratives, okay? Telling us who's the greatest, who's not the greatest, that's over with. Other people have opinions. Other people have the right to speak their mind. Okay? You guys are late to this party. Every one of you dudes now want your own podcast. Why is that? What you want a podcast for? You got your YouTube podcast. See? It's just hilarious how tables turn. It's just hilarious to me. Right? How many times and you want to talk about journalistic integrity, Stephen A. Smith, how many times has Stephen A. Smith had anonymous sources? Yeah, my sources are telling me this and this and that. See, what you're really doing is guessing. You're leveraging your credibility against a story. And you know that you have the power to just say anything and people are going to believe you because you're Stephen A. Smith. So every once in a while when there's no news going on, there's nothing going on in the world of sports worthy of talking about, Stephen A. Smith comes out with some random source to break the internet. You know, some random source told him something. He never has to expose this source. He never has to say where he heard it. Then, so he can say, oh, my source told me, you know, Kevin Durant doesn't like chocolate ice cream. Kevin Durant likes vanilla ice cream for obvious reasons. I mean, have you ever seen Kevin Durant with any chocolate ice cream? I mean, you know where I'm getting at with this, you know. He likes vanilla ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he might even like vanilla ice cream with an extra stick on it, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, if you know what I'm saying. Right? That's what his sources told him. But then, what'll happen is, Kevin Durant will respond. Like, what is this dude talking about? This dude is lying. Man, I don't know who your source is or what you're talking about. You're lying. Now it's a back and forth. Boom, they got a news story for the next week. Or based off of something Stephen A. Smith made up to begin with. That's what they do. They literally make stuff up. Just like the guy, the one, Malika Andrews' boyfriend. Forgot his name. But this guy come out talking about when Russell Westbrook got traded from the Lakers. He come out with a story. One source told me it's like having a vampire removed from the locker room. I mean, unbelievable, the story, the lies these people tell. And everybody said, hey, put a name on that. Who said that? Who called Russ a vampire? Right? He doesn't have to reveal his source. They make stuff up all the time. Right? They leverage their reputation against these stories. Because they know it's hard to prove if someone is telling the truth or not. It's hard to prove. Like, how can I refute you if you say you had a source that told you this? Because you don't have to reveal your sources. So that's what these guys have been able to do. And they're angry because YouTubers have a bigger voice than they do in many aspects. You know what I mean? More people are watching YouTube than watch ESPN or Fox Sports 1. You know? And they don't like that. You can see the same thing in politics, you know? CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all very, very biased on one wing or the other wing, right? Extremely biased commentary on those news channels, right? They push an agenda, right? From the top down, whatever agenda the network wants pushed, that's what all the shows are going to push predominantly, right? But then you have YouTubers, people on social media who have their own opinion politically. And those videos start to get traction, and they all organize to get that guy shut down, right? They start calling it fake news. We don't need these people who don't have any credentials misleading people. You know, we don't want these people. Okay, well, you guys make a career of misleading people. All right? You make a career misleading people and brainwashing people. This is what you do. But they don't want to deal with the competition. That's all this is about. You know, I seen Dreamers Pro did an excellent video about this yesterday. I see my boy Two Off Sports did an excellent video about this as well. But you know, this is what it's about, man. It's about competition, and they don't want to deal with it. Okay, and let's talk about the elephant in the room as well before I forget. First of all, ESPN and Fox Sports 1, they steal so much content from YouTube. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, bro. You know how many, bro, listen, they have so-called research teams. Because, you know, I'm going to tell you a secret, all right? None of those talk show hosts have time to watch all these games. They just don't. It's not enough time. Some of those games are on at the same time. They don't have time to watch. Let's just deal with the NBA for a minute. If you got 5 NBA games coming on that night, 2 of them are on at the same time, they're not watching all those games. They watch certain games, okay, like the Laker games, stuff like that. They watch those games. And mostly they look at the highlights and box scores, okay? And they have research teams, some young guys fresh out of college, young guys and gals fresh out of college, that their only job is to watch sports, listen to what the commentators are saying, pick up on juicy narratives, and give them something to talk about for the next day. Remember stats and stuff like that, highlights, you know, PowerPoints, all that kind of stuff, right? And that research team watches YouTubers. They want to know what the streets are talking about, right? What is the common guy talking about? What are people saying about this game, right? I've heard, listen, Nick Wright on FS1 does this player pyramid. I saw a YouTuber doing that way before Nick Wright. Years before Nick Wright, I saw a YouTuber, can't remember his name, doing a player pyramid. Next thing you know, Nick Wright introduces, yeah, I'm going to do this player pyramid thing. Okay, wow. Right? I remember somebody, Skip Bayless and Shannon, was spending all their days roasting Russell Westbrook when he was with the Lakers, right? I remember a guy on Twitter made a good point, pointed out the truth. He said, it's funny people hating on Russ. He said Westbrook, every team he's been on, his co-star has had their best years. Like he said, Paul George had his best year with Westbrook. Kevin Durant was an MVP with Westbrook. Bradley Beal was in a scoring champion with Westbrook. And now LeBron James is on his way to be a scoring champion with Westbrook, right? And the next day, I saw that screenshot that was floating around social media on Instagram of the guy saying that, and it was a great point. The next day, Shannon Sharp's research team must have showed him about it, because Shannon Sharp is on TV saying it word for word as if he just thought of it himself. Bro, come on, Shannon. You saw the same thing we saw, but now you acting like it's yours. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I've blatantly heard Kendrick Perkins regurgitate stuff from Ticket TV talking points. I've heard blatantly, no disrespect to Kendrick Perkins, I like Perk, but Perk was, I heard him steal talking points from Ticket TV. He even trying to talk like Ticket now. He was trying, go back and listen to Kendrick Perkins debating JJ Redick, the last one, not the first debate, but the last one they had when they got into it. Listen to Kendrick Perkins. He sound like Ticket. When Ticket be on Player's Choice, he sound like Ticket. Kendrick Perkins, no, time out. You know how Ticket do that? Ticket be like, time out. You know, Ticket ain't gonna let nobody talk. Kendrick Perkins, I said, hold up, bro. Come on, fam. See, that's what happens when you listen to somebody too much. You know what I'm saying? Listen to somebody too much, that's what happened. It starts to rub off on you. But and so on and so forth, man. These guys steal talking points from us all the time. I've heard Nick Wright say things that I've said. Yeah, sure. Sometimes this stuff can be coincidence, of course. I'm not that egotistical, right? But sometimes it's blatant, clearly blatant. Okay? Straight blatant. You know? But Stephen A. Smith needs to relax. He needs to take a chill pill. He needs to accept the fact that he's living in an era where there's going to be competition. There's going to be competition, Stephen A. Just deal with it, all right? YouTube is here to stay. The independent sports commentator is here to stay. You guys have had jobs your whole career. You know, like you said, you wake up in the morning and the thing you think about is, how can I make my bosses more money? Some of us wake up in the morning and say, how can I make more money? You know what I'm saying? How can I make more money for me? And some of us have had that mentality our whole lives. You know what I'm saying? Or the better part of our adult life. You know? You're just now getting there. You know what I'm saying? You're just now getting there. So don't start hating, bro. 78 Sports TV. Salute to the mighty LDBC. Smash that like button, y'all. Subscribe to the channel. I'm up out of here. Deuces.